ॐ सहना भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। प्रबोध सुधाकर श्लोक 99। सदसद्विलक्षणासौ परमात्मसदाश्रयानादिः सा च गुणत्रयरूपा सूते सचराचरं विश्वम्। This shloka describes Maya. Maya is a very important concept in Vedanta. Asau sadasad-vilakshana. Can you hear? Oh. You can come closer. Maya is sadasad-vilakshana. Sadasad-vilakshana means it is mithya. It is an explanation of mithya. Neither sat nor asat. There are certain objects in the world that are neither sat nor asat. Sat means it exists. Asat means it does not exist. For example, Shashavishana, a rabbit's horn. Does a rabbit's horn exist? It does not. Therefore, it is called asat. Rabbit's horn is asat. Then there are certain objects that exist. Now, there is a Rajju Sarpa, rope snake, a snake superimposed on a rope. There is a darkness, but not absolute darkness. There is twilight. Some light is there. There is enough light to see that something is there. But there is no adequate light to see what it really is. That is when the superimposition happens. Any adhyasa happens when you have some knowledge of a given object, but you don't have a clear knowledge, that is when all misconceptions happen. It is true with the people also. We know somebody to some extent, but we don't know him well enough. Then people talk various things about him. He may be like this, he may be like this, like that. If somebody comes wearing good dress, they start discussing, he must be very rich, he must be a millionaire, billionaire, etc. And likewise, if somebody looks simple, then they will think he must be a poor man, he cannot afford to get a big car, etc. They will talk like that about him. But what he really is, they don't know. We do our own projections on somebody whom we don't know. We have just seen. We know a little about him. Such things happen in this world, and that is what causes all the rumors, etc. Like some incident also. Some people say something. Nowadays in social media they say something. And then people start discussing various things about it. And in the social media, certain things become true. A non-existing event, an event which never happened, becomes true in social media. Likewise, a superimposition happens when we know something about an object, but we don't know it properly. We don't know what it really is. Like in the case of the rope, you know something is there. You know it is long. You know it is a little curved. That much you are able to see. But what it really is, you are not able to see. Then your mind superimposes. It projects something. It is the nature of our mind. Our mind has a natural tendency to project things. Mind is a projector. Mind is a projector. That is why it is able to see the dream. Dream is the best example to understand that our mind is a projector. And if it can project so many things in dream, why it cannot project things now? That is why many of our understandings regarding this world, many of our understanding regarding other people are our own projections. So the mind projects a snake, a sarpa. A snake is superimposed. That is when we see Rajju Sarpa, rope snake. Now, does that snake exist? Does that snake exist? If it exists, It should not disappear as soon as you switch on the light. As soon as you switch on the light, the snake disappears. There is no snake. Therefore, you cannot say the snake is. You cannot say the snake exists. Likewise, can we say the snake does not exist? You cannot say the snake exists. Can we say the snake does not exist? You cannot say that also. Because if the snake does not exist at all, then how can you see the snake? You are seeing the snake. And not only you see the snake is creating its problem also. You are afraid of the snake. You are frightened. And sometimes people will think the snake has bitten me. Therefore, one cannot say the snake does not exist. Unlike Shashavishana, unlike rabbit's horn. Therefore, the snake is neither Sat. Sat means it exists. It is not Sat, meaning you cannot say it exists. Meanwhile, it is not Asat, meaning you cannot say it does not exist also. It is a special category. Neither Sat nor Asat. The Shastrakaras say, Satchenna badhyeta, Asatchenna pratiyeta. If it is Sat, it will not get negated. The Rajju Sarpa gets negated. If it is Sat, it will not get negated. Likewise, if it is Asat, if it is non-existent, it would not have appeared. Na pratiyeta. Therefore, it is called Sadasatbhyam Anirvachaniyam. It cannot be categorized into Sat or Asat. Neither Sat nor Asat. Such objects are called mithya. Any object that is neither Sat nor Asat is called mithya. Mithya is a term used to any object which has this description. Mithya does not mean there is one object called mithya. Any object which fits into this category is called mithya. Now we are discussing Maya. Even the Maya is mithya. Note this point. Mithya is not a synonym of Maya. Maya is different, Mithya is different. Mithya includes many things. Even the rope snake is Mithya. But what is Maya? Maya is different, but it is Mithya. Maya is Mithya. Everything Mithya cannot be called Maya, but Maya is Mithya. Because it is neither Sat nor Asat. Therefore, the author describes Maya as Sadasad Vilakshana. It is neither Sat nor Asat. And there is further description. Paramatma Sadashraya. If Maya is not Sat, it means it does not have existence. Maya does not have existence. Then where does it get the existence from? Because if anything has to appear, it should have existence. Because anything that appears to be existing, appears with existence. When we say the table is. Likewise, rope snake is. At least when it appears, the snake is. Likewise, Maya is. Even the Maya is. It appears to have an existence. Where does it get that existence from? The answer is, it borrows the existence from the Paramatma, the Brahman. Therefore, Brahman is the Ashraya. Ashraya implies the one who lends existence, the one who endorses Maya with its existence, is called Ashraya. Here, Ashraya does not mean like the table. The table is the Ashraya for this book, because the book is supported by the table. But it is not so with the Maya and the Brahman. Because, see, unlike the table and the book, the book has a separate existence compared to the table. The book has its own existence, the table has its own existence. They are independently present. That is why I can take the book away from the table and show. But it is not so with the Maya and Brahman. The Maya gets its existence because of Brahman. If you take the Maya away from Brahman, Maya does not have any existence. Therefore, Maya is called Paramatma Sadashraya. It is dependent on the Sat, which is Paramatma, for its existence. In other words, Maya has endorsed existence. It does not have intrinsic existence. In economy, there is a concept, intrinsic value and endorsed value. Even regarding shares, they talk about intrinsic value and endorsed value. We can understand with a simple example. Your currency note. You have a currency. Who has currency? Take one. Paisa do. Yeah. This is 100 rupee note. Now, what is the intrinsic value of this 100 rupee note? 50 paisa. Even less maybe. Yeah. And since it has already become old and curled, so you will not even get 50 paisa for this. If I tear it and if you take it just a paper, it's just a small piece of paper. In fact, when I was a child, I was wondering, how can they get chocolate for this small piece of paper? If I get any other paper, if I tear a paper page from my notebook and give, they will not give chocolate. But if I give this paper, they give chocolate. I didn't understand. What makes this valuable? Because it is also a piece of paper. Therefore, it does not have any intrinsic value, almost nil. Intrinsic value means the value of this paper, nil. Then what gives its value? There is an endorsement. Governor of the Reserve Bank of India, I promise to the bearer the sum of 100 rupees. And then there is a signature. Governor, Reserve Bank of India. That is what gives it value. The Reserve Bank of India has endorsed this note with the value. That is why it has value. If you give 100 rupees, they will give some chocolate, some fruits, whatever. It does not have intrinsic value. It has endorsed value. In the same manner, in Vedanta, you can understand the Maya does not have intrinsic existence. It has only endorsed existence. The Brahman endorses the Maya with its existence. That is why the Maya seems to exist. Therefore, Paramatma Sadashaya Anadihi. It is Anadi. When did the Maya begin? Who created the Maya? No answer. When did the Maya begin? It never began. Who created Maya? Even that does not have answer. Often people ask this question, why we became jivas? Why we are born? Why are we born? You can give one answer. You are born because of your karma. I am born because of my karma. All of us are born because of our own karmas. The karma that we have done in the previous janmas. Only this can explain why we are born and why we are born in a particular place, in a particular family, why we are born as men or women, male or female. So many questions are there. What can answer it properly is only the theory of karma, the law of karma. There is no other theory that can answer it as satisfactorily as the law of karma. We are born, somebody is born rich, Ambani's son, born rich. And some of us are born in poor families. Some of us are born in middle class families. Why there is such differences? What can explain the differences? It is the law of karma. You are born in a rich family because of your karma in the previous janma. In the previous janma or before that sometime, I have done some good work, some punya. You have done some punya. Therefore you are born with the silver spoon. And somebody has done some evil karma in his past janma. That is why he is born in a poor family. Therefore, where we are born, how we are born, it is decided by our karma in the previous janma. In fact, almost all schools of Indian philosophy accept the law of karma, whether they are astikas or nastikas. Except Charvaka, of course. Everybody accepts the law of karma. Even Buddhas, Jainas, they also accept the law of karma. What happens to us is a result of our past karma. And it is a very logical explanation to what happens in our life. Now, why we are born? Answer is our karma in the past janma. In the previous janma we did some karma, so we are born. We are enjoying the result of our karma, because nothing is free of cost. According to the law of karma, nothing is coming free of cost. You have already paid. Certain things are prepaid and certain things are postpaid. Certain things are prepaid. If somebody gives me a fruit and he doesn't want anything for that, then it is prepaid. Means I have done something in the past. I am getting the result. Prepaid. And certain things we will have to pay later on. If you are stealing a fruit from somebody's shop or somebody's garden, without his knowledge, without his permission, you are stealing, then it is postpaid. You will have to pay later on when the time comes. When it will come, you don't know. And sometimes we will have to pay heavily. Just the day before yesterday, a gentleman was explaining. He was working in some government office and he was an honest officer. He was not accepting bribe. In 1985, somebody offered him 1 lakh rupees bribe. And we were discussing in 1985, 1 lakh rupees. He was telling if you had invested in some property, it would have become 12 crore now, around in some cases. So that was the amount of bribe he was offered in 1985. And he said, no, I will not accept bribe. But then the same gentleman went to his superior and gave some bribe, 1 lakh rupees. He was a diamond businessman. Diamond. Then this officer said, you give a diamond earring to my wife, for my wife, then I will do your work. In addition to 1 lakh. Then he made a diamond earring for his wife, officer's wife. Then he said, now you have given it for my wife. Now my daughter is also asking. So make another diamond earring, another pair of earrings for my daughter also. Then he gave it to his daughter also. Then perhaps his work was done. This gentleman thought, my superior is taking all the burden of the papa. I am relieved from the papa. Then eventually what happened, he was telling. The daughter to him whom this jeweler had made the earring, she died in an electric accident after a few days or few years, whatever. When she was taking bath, there was some issue with the geyser. The geyser burst or whatever happened. I don't know what exactly. And she died in the bathroom with an electric shock. And then this gentleman who gave the bribe and who got his work done with all those things, he later got paralysis. He was paralyzed. So what we have to understand from such incident, you have to pay later on. Sometimes it happens in this janma itself, but often it happens in the other janmas. You may think somebody has done all papa, still he is happy in this janma. It doesn't mean he is going to be happy forever. He will have to pay every inch of it in the next janma or whenever. Therefore, the law of karma is very much in play. Therefore, why we are here? The answer is karma, our karma in the previous janma. Now the question arises, what brought us to the previous janma? Why we got the previous janma? Our karma before that. Before our karma in the janma before that. What made us get that Janma? Something before that. Likewise, we can go on and on. There is no end. There is nothing called first Janma. It is logically impossible to have a first Janma, because any Janma requires a karma. Where did we get the karma from? We should have got the karma from the previous Janma only. Therefore, the first Janma is logically impossible. Nobody had a first Janma. Neither this is our first Janma, nor we never had any first Janma. Nor we had any first Janma. Therefore, the Vedanta Shastra accepts Jiva as Anadi. Jiva is Anadi. And Maya is Anadi. Since Maya is Anadi, Jiva is also Anadi. It has no beginning. That is why this is happening, no answer. Finally, there is no answer. At some level we can give answer. Finally, there is no answer. The Vedanta does not give you an answer for this. Because the Vedanta itself implies there is no answer. Then the Vedanta says there is a solution. You can get out of it. How you can get out of it? Because though Maya is Anadi, you can put an end to it. It is Anadi but not Ananta. It does not have a beginning, but it does not mean it does not have an end. You can put an end to Maya. How? By Jnana, Atma Jnana, self-knowledge. Therefore, Maya is Anadihi. Anadi. Sacha Gunatraya Rupa. It is Gunatraya Rupa. It has three gunas: Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. It's a combination of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. How do you understand Maya is a combination of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas? Because everything is the effect of Maya. The whole universe is an effect of Maya. And in the effect, we can categorize everything into three types: Sattva, Sattvika, Rajasika and Tamasika. Certain things are Sattvika. Certain things are Rajasika. And certain things are Tamasika. We can classify. With our own experience, we can classify. That is what the philosophers have done. In fact, an interesting point: Sattva, Rajas and Tamas are not told in the Vedas. They are not told in the Upanishads. They are found only in Smriti, like Bhagavad Gita, etc. Therefore, this model came up later on. It was not there in the Vedas. This is arrived at by the observations of the rishis. For example, our own mind. If we observe our own mind, our mind becomes a sattvika sometimes. It is fresh. It is able to understand things well, clearly, is able to study, is able to meditate. Then the mind is sattvika. And sometimes it is rajasika. It is turbulent, restless. You want to do some activity, engage in some activity, then it is rajasika. Same mind becomes rajasika. And sometimes it is tamasika. It cannot function, dull, lazy, then it is tamasika. Even our own mind gets these three states. And if you observe some people's mind, it is more sattvika than the others. Some people's mind is more rajasika than the others. That is why their personality also is more rajasika. They keep doing things. I have to do this, I have to do that. Whereas a sattvika person is not interested in doing anything. He is just interested in studying and meditating. Studies, meditation, music, whatever. He is not into activities. A rajasika person engages in work, goes here and there. And then there is a tamasika person. He will also not do anything. He will also keep quiet. Because he is lazy, dull. The two extremes are alike. Sometimes sattvika can be wrongly understood as tamasika, and the other way around also. Therefore, the universe has the three gunas: sattva, rajas and tamas. We can see the effects of the three gunas in the universe. It can start from our mind and even the external objects. Certain objects invoke certain sattvika attitudes in us. Certain objects. For example, when you see a cow, you get a sattvika attitude. The cow does not harm anyone. The cow is peaceful. Then you get a sattvika tendency in your mind. Certain animals are sattvika. Certain animals are rajasika, like a tiger, etc. And certain animals are tamasika, like a goat, etc. If you drink goat's milk, they say, even emme is like that, buffalo. Drinking buffalo's milk makes a person lazy. That's what they say. I don't know. If somebody is lazy, they say he has drunk buffalo's milk. I don't know whether they say here. ಎಮ್ಮೆ ಹಾಲು ಕುಡಿದಿದ್ದಾನೆ. Therefore, everything can be classified into sattvika, rajasika and tamasika. Therefore, the cause of everything, from which everything has come, also should have these three gunas. That is how we understand Maya has the three gunas. In fact, the Vedas don't say this. Upanishad does not say this. Maya has three gunas. We have worked it out later on. Upanishad talks about Maya. Indro Maya Bhippururupa Iyate. Maya is talked about in the Upanishad. But the Maya has three gunas. It has come later. Then Sute Sacharacharam Vishwam. Maya Sute creates Sacharacharam Vishwam, the whole universe, which includes Chara and Achara, moving as well as non-moving objects. All are created by Maya. Therefore, the whole universe, including our body, including our mind, is an effect of Maya. And therefore, we have to understand that the universe that we see, including our body and mind, is sadasadvilakshanam. It is neither sat nor asat, implying it is mithya. Jagat is mithya. Then what is satya? Brahman is satya. Brahma satyam. Jagan mithya. And who is the Brahman? You are the Brahman. Jivo brahmaivana paraha. This is the purport of Vedanta. And with this, we will conclude this text. I am not going into all the shlokas in Prabodha Sudhakara. We will start another text from the next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.